re-ask that question.
Okay.
It's so hard to take you seriously. Whatever.
So Rob, what exactly brought you to this point in your life?
What brought me to this point in my life, I would have to say, was just complete unmanageability. I went to college, I did that thing, I started off partying, had a good time with it, and then I started dipping into some harder drugs, started hanging out with some, less than respectable people, and it sent my life into a place where I had no idea it could take me, and it was nowhere where I wanted to be.
How were you able to just stop, or what were the methods that you used in order to change your life around?
For me, the thought of stopping kind of seemed like an impossibility. I heard about people getting sober, and I was kind of thinking, cool for them, not for me at all. And I would say that I was kind of stuck at a place, kind of like a boiling point in my life, where either I needed to make some sort of drastic change, or that was going to be my entire life, living in some busted apartment, just doing absolutely nothing with myself.
So, what are the things that you implement in your life today that help you stay sober?
Well, I adopted the 12 Steps of Recovery, Alcoholics Anonymous, all that. And there's other things that I do beyond that. I try to adopt a spiritual aspect of recovery. I've got God in my life. I know that might turn some people off, but that's what I hear is the most important aspect of pretty much anybody who's got solid recovery. I do other things. I've taken up surfing. I try to keep myself busy, try to stimulate my mind with other things than drugs. And it seems like those other things that I use have some form of payoff, actually in a much better form than drugs had for me.
So, when exactly did your drinking career, alcohol usage begin, and how did it really progress when you went from just a typical drink on the weekends to where you had to have drugs every single day in your life?
Well, a typical drink on the weekends was never really in the picture for me. I drank for my first time when I was like 13. I started smoking a lot of weed by the time I was 15. I don't know, Torrey Pines High School, by the time I was 15, I was partying every weekend, if not every day. So that just wasn't really the thought of just having a mellow drink on the weekends wasn't realistic. And then from there, I went to college, started dabbling in some other drugs. I tried some psychedelics and stuff in high school. Went to college, started messing around with prescription drugs, and I thought that was pretty bitchin'. And to put a point and a time on when things became unmanageable and when things got too out of control is really hard to do for me. I think that it's more just like a slippery slope, because I couldn't put a date or a time on it. When I just started off taking Xanax bars, I was having a blast. It made everything about life cooler. And then it started tearing apart some things that I wanted in my life that I thought were exactly what I needed in my life at that point in time. And as a result of those things getting torn apart, I started using some other drugs to supplement whatever pain I had caused myself, or whatever it was that I had in essence taken away from myself as a result of where I let myself go.
if you had to put one thing out there to somebody struggling with addiction or alcoholism, what would it be? Maybe some thing that could help them out.
That there's help if they want it, but they have to actually want it. There's all sorts of different outlets for help, and it doesn't just have to be AA. And there's a lot of people who think within the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous that that's the only way to go, and I know that there's other options. It's what's worked for me because it's what I dove into, because it's what I was taught to dive into, and it's working. But I know there's other outlets, and I know there's other sources for recovery. But if you want help, just saying that you want help isn't enough. You have to actually make the footwork to get that help. And it's uncomfortable, and it sucks at times. But if you want to make a drastic change in your life and get something out of life that you actually want to get, something that's important to you, then change needs to be made.
And since you've become sober, you've seen a big change in your life for the better?
Yeah, absolutely. Just to describe, it didn't really start off like this. I was having a good, I'm not tripping when I'm going to say that I had a great time getting drunk and getting high for a long time. And then after a while, it kind of gripped me, and it turned me into someone that I hated. And as time's gone on in recovery, I don't have a whole lot of time stone sober and clean. But as time has gone on, it's gotten to the point where I can look myself in the mirror. I'm not as afraid or as messed up as I was on drugs or really early on in recovery. And there's still a lot of work to be done to get to a state of mind that I feel I need to obtain, to where I feel like I can't be fazed by anything, because anything that I used to get fazed by, I would have to turn to drugs, alcohol, whatever. And there's other outside things other than drugs or alcohol that you can turn to help solve your problems. But those were my main outlets, and for 6 months I haven't had to use those outlets to get away from my problems. So obviously something good is happening. Otherwise, why would I be doing this?
Well, thank you, Rob, so much for your time. We really appreciate it.